It always hurts to see it end. 13 weeks of football. An end of days for many teams who fought so valiantly, yet still fell on the sword. 4 chances to go out fighting, and 1 to go out on top. 1 to keep the fight alive, to wear a heavier crown. All things must come to an end, but we are so happy to have been on this ride. Time to go out in style as Week 13 in the OVC Big South starts right now.
1, 2, 3, come on!
Welcome into OVC Big South Game Day for Week 13. Jacob Stonick alongside James Zugmeyer and Elizabeth Boaz. Another fantastic week, and unfortunately, the regular season is going to come to an end today. Question of, will we see more than one be represented in the FCS playoffs? Still to be determined, but man, it really sucks to have to call her quits after today.
Yeah, it's been a great show all season long. We've had a lot of fun with it. Been some great football, and we have a curse. And if we all 3 pick a team this week, your team's losing because Western Illinois last week, we are sorry. But that was bad in the second half.
Yeah, we got cooked, but it's been fun. It's been a good run this season.
It's been a fantastic season, but looking back now at Week 12, we'll start off with UT Martin and their battle with Charleston Southern, trying to keep their championship hopes alive against the Buccaneers. What a game it was. Take a look at it here right now. And it's going to start here. Big plays. There's a lot of big plays in this game. Scotty Alexander first, 52-yard pass. Just watch this scramble here by Jace Bauer. Gets out of it. Think he's going to go for it? No. Finds a man wide open with space. That's Scotty Alexander capping it off. 7-0 for UT Martin. Again, just watch this scramble by Jace Bauer. He has been incredible this season. He's had his ups, he's had his downs, but he's really performing when he needs to now. Trying to make it a handful in a row right now for UT Martin. Haven't lost since the Lindenwood game. But on the opposite side, who's downfield? That's Rashawn Cunningham with space, 73 yards to the house. 7-7. Zoltan Osborne, again, another quarterback who's been incredible. Cool, calm, collected. Puts it just an absolute spot in stride. Didn't even have to worry about it. Just laced it in beautifully. Already celebrated before he gets into the end zone. Next up, Cade Hector, 34-yard field goal, 10-7. Easy game, still going. But first of all, I love this celebration. Watch this celly. Nice little curling. Love it. I love it. I love it. Beautiful. That's a main
With
reason
Winter
also.
Olympics coming up.
Yeah, that's why I had to put that in as well. But again, another big play here. And again, Rashawn Cunningham wide open, trying to get into the end zone, but just stuffed. 71-yard pass, another beauty, wide open, down to the 4. But it wouldn't stay out for too much longer as Mackay Campfield would get into the end zone. Open look on the 4-yard pass, giving the Buccaneers the lead for the first time in this game, 10-14. But with time winding down to the 4th, Chris Franklin making it through. What a run, and able to break through another mad scramble switching field, and he breaks it in for the 21-yard touchdown run, 17-14. Another look at this play. Gets into it, into space, dead to rights. I'm still fighting through, and gets into open space into the end zone, 17-14. Last touchdown of the game, but here, this is the big play. 4th and 5, Keyshawn Johnson, the man, the myth, the legend, taking down Zoltan Osborne. What a spin move to get into the space, the game-winning sack. And again, just look at this. It's just gorgeous. He's been so amazing on that outside linebacker. They kneel it down after an incredible drive to end the game. A 3-minute, I wish I could throw in just about every single play of that drive. 3 minutes and 30 seconds with 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning on the side for Charleston Southern, and they were able to grind it out and get the win in this game, trying to set up, and they did set up, what would be a championship Saturday here today. I mean, just incredible stuff by UT Martin. They are winning when they need to, and that was exactly what they did here last Saturday.
I like that you mentioned the 3 minutes at the end, because all season long, that's what this team has done. I mean, they just possess the football, they run so well, but to start the game, they really couldn't get to their strengths. I mean, they weren't really running the ball well. They had bad field position. They were in their inside the 20 in all but one drive in the first half, and then had a fumble. They don't turn over the ball much. So what do you do when you're in a dogfight, when you can't get your offense going? You got to dial up some big plays. They found some explosives finally. I've been calling for it all season long. And it's this first play here. He looked a little Allen-y. I know I'm a Bills fan, a little biased, but and also not last night. No, we ignore last night. But dude, running away from all that pressure. This is a great pass rush and just a great team on the D-line for Charleston Southern. And he's just able to run out to his left, escape back to his right, find his man downfield. And that's what makes him so special, is his legs. And I think that'll play a big part in the Tennessee Tech match this week. And then you'll look at the end of the game. Yeah, they haven't been running the football. They don't get those big plays. How about a broken play? Run out to your right, there's no blocking. The blockers never give up, reverse the field all the way back for a touchdown. That's the type of stuff they've been missing all season long. And then credit their defense. I mean, they showed out in big moments. Scoreless first half, interception on Charleston Southern's first second half drive, just kind of setting the tone. 2 stops on 4th down, and then, you know, the last possession of the game, you saw it. That big time play, big sack. They got the big plays in this one. They stay alive. Sorry, I rambled on for way too long on that one, but I love this football game because it just shows what UT Martin is as a team. They're not pretty. They don't win the normal way that these dominant teams do, but they win.
And I forgot to mention, too, this was a 0-0 game at halftime. So just to put that out there, it was 0-0 at the half.
Yeah, like all the highlights we're showing, it's second half. The
This
first
is
half was
that's only
abysmal.
30 minutes a game right there. That's it.
And to touch on that point, I want to start off with mentioning that Charleston Southern messed up. The first quarter, they had an opportunity to put points on the board, and their kicker missed a 33-yard field goal, guys. I mean, those are points that you cannot miss in the game. And then, you know, coming out, there have been some good moments in that game, but I mean, we've seen this clip, 3 times now? I think we all loved it with that interception on UT Martin. I mean, Zoltan Osborne has climbed his way through tooth and nail this season to not only be the starting quarterback, but be a good starting quarterback. I couldn't tell you how many times we've mentioned his name on this show throughout the season. But throwing an interception like that is just not good. And coming out of that, we're going to take a look at that from, oh wait, no, we're on to Jason Bauer. His run, I mean, that was just incredible. The dude has legs, he can run it, and that's just a variable that not every quarterback has this season. I mean, Jace Bauer's been the person we've been talking about who can run the ball. Although Zoltan did throw a nice touchdown pass to one of his receivers in the game, and they were able to run it down, which was awesome. That was the highlight for them for this game. So I put it in 2 different angles. I think it looks good. And I want to point out, I know I'm supposed to be focusing on Charleston Southern, but UT Martin there, they actually tried to tackle, and that's what you want to see when you've got a big breakaway, is you want to see that defensive person trying to actually make that tackle, which we didn't see from Charleston Southern when the roles were reversed earlier in the game. Now, also as well, Osborne he threw a touchdown. They were able to make a field goal in the 4th, which did redeem them from the first quarter where they weren't able to make that field goal. But I really do think if Charleston Southern had gotten off on a better foot and taken advantage of some of those mishaps that UT Martin had kind of put out there for them, that it could have turned out to a different game.
Yeah, like you got to start fast with UT Martin. You know they were going to wear you down by the end of the game, just a slow start, but also their season's not on the line. UT Martin's was on the line. He knew it was going to be a tough game. We picked incorrectly, but we were almost redeemed. I mean, Charleston Southern played one heck of a ball game.
Yeah, and the thing was too is that it's always difficult to like look at a team saying, oh yeah, Charleston Southern, you know, they're not playing for anything, but at the same time, it's well, you have nothing to lose, so you might as well go out as powerful as you can in these last 2 games. They certainly showed it. The defense showed up first half, but fortunately, our valiant Buccaneer himself, Zoltan Osborne, just could not get it done for his team. I still love the way he looks. He's so fitting for that team.
We still love you, Brown Beard. Great game.
We love him. But another team that just in the kind of the mist, 2 teams already out of it. SEMO versus Western Illinois. What a game it was. A battle in Macomb for the Leathernecks. Final home game against the Redhawks. And this was another game with some pretty big plays throughout the game. Taking a look at it, start Markel Holman. After going up 3-0 already for Western Illinois, he would start it off a 12-yard pass. This was a really tight game. Western Illinois would be up by 2 scores multiple times in this game. love this celly right here by Markel Holman. 12-yard pass for number 6 in purple. Another open look over the middle. Casson Carswell began to look like he was going to end this season off on a really good foot. I mean, just watch this pass here. Just floating it in. An excellent grab. Damari Davis from 17 yards out. This would make it 17-3. And it seemed like it was all Leathernecks. But Cole Rubble, 6 yards, going, diving for the pylon. Is he in? The ball popped out. Touchdown on the field. Get another look at this angle. He stays in, tightrope, foot stays in, the ball touches, and that's a touchdown every single time. 6-yard pass. This would make it a 1-score game. This is an amazing run here. Bouncing to the outside, Brandon Epton Jr. This was right after a missed field goal by Western Illinois, missing a 30-plus yarder, and he takes it 80 yards to the house, breaking through tackles. That would tie the game up. Now, this is what the deciding play was. Play in the end zone. They're rushing Carswell, and he just kind of chucks one up. They think it's a fumble. No, not a fumble. Refs would meet, another look at it. See, not out of the tackle box. There's nobody there. End up being a safety. 19-17. And a field goal to seal it, 39-yarder from Justin Keller to make it 22-17 was just costly, and this is how it ends. 4th down, across the field, no one able to snag it. Trying to find his receiver, no PI. Redhawks pick up a win on the road before they have a huge game here today against Lindenwood. What a game it was there. And overall, this was another game. Jax Leatherwood stepping up big. They've been trusting him more and more. It's been a back and forth, and obviously we've talked about whether Leatherwood should be in or if it should be Johnny Weber. But this was, actually correction, it was Johnny Weber back in the game there. I apologize. Johnny Weber, I mean, there's the argument for us. Johnny Weber, an incredible game here today for the Redhawks.
And it wasn't like he had to put the team on his back because, you know, he played okay. And what I really liked is he avoided pressure well because you saw the week before, 11 sacks again. So cannot have that. But they ran the football. I mean, they really ran the football in this game. I get it. For other teams, 179 yards, that's nothing special. But for them, that's the most they've had all season long. And that comes off of 3 weeks where they've had 20 or less net rushing yards. Like, we've seen some single digits from this team. For them to go out there and give us 179 yards in a game they really needed to have or just feel good about themselves, that's huge. But I want to highlight the punter. Punt highlight. Let's do it.
Love it.
Second half, punts were outstanding for Ryan Kingston. 3 of his 5 second half punts were down inside the 5.
Beautiful.
1 was down outside the 20.
I love to see it.
It was just a great job from the special teamers to just shut down Western Illinois because they are not a team that is built to go the distance of the field. They're explosive, they're inconsistent, they don't get it done on the big downs. And to kind of speak to that, SEMO's defense, the second half for Western Illinois went like this. Missed field goal, punt, turnover on downs, safety, interception, turnover on downs, turnover on downs, turnover on downs, season high in sacks on the game. That is a defensive coordinator's wet dream. Like that second half, I see that look. This second half for this team was unbelievable defensively. You have to ask, and I did ask coming in, what do they have to play for? Are they going to be a motivated football team coming in? Your season feels like it's over. Clearly they don't feel that way because that second half was some of the most inspired football I've seen out of this SEMO team all year and probably going back to last year before, you know, they kind of fell off at the end.
Well, also, too, just to touch on SEMO, they stopped Western Illinois 4 times in the 4 times on 4th down conversions in the second half of the game, right? Western Illinois started off strong, but they just lost their momentum. SEMO was able to figure out their weaknesses and exploit them, which is how they ended up winning this game. I mean, Western Illinois, you take a look at this, and they were dominant. The game started, and they already had a field goal. They got more done. Their kicker was being pretty, for the most part, he had it together, but throughout the game, he definitely lost his composure as his kicks weren't going his way. And I mean, just some great passes by Casey Carswell. But I really think it matters how a team as a whole carries themselves, and you cannot have players losing it on the field, throwing their helmet down, being mad that they've missed something, especially when it's so close, because it seeps into just about everybody else and it makes everybody else anxious. And I think that that's just something you can't have. Also, too, I do have to mention this. Kason Carswell, he did have some great plays in this game, but he was throwing at a 50% completion rate in this game. And he is a freshman, and his team has done better with giving him more protection in the pocket, but you just cannot have a 50% completion rate. I mean, he is a freshman, so I feel like for me, he can only go up, and he has shown that he is on the incline throughout this whole season. But I really think this is a great learning game for Western Illinois, and also too just a test of their endurance and their persistence for when things get hard.
I think they learned the wrong lessons from the Lindenwood game. They legitimately copied Lindenwood to a T and what happened in the game before. We're going to start fast, and then we're just going to collapse in on ourselves. And this season, and I know we're going to kind of get into it later, it's been so weird for them. Not a lot of expectations. We were drinking the Kool-Aid thinking this team, they have momentum. Just ran out of steam in the second half. I mean, it's as simple as that. They just weren't themselves and just had a really bad second half.
Yeah, it was tough. Simply put. And for a final game at home as well for the Leathernecks, just kind of go out that way. It's really, it's tough to see. We've been on the Leathernecks so much, but the belief is there. And I mean, it seemed like they were gaining it. It looked like it was going to be 3 in a row. Just couldn't grab it. And to be fair, though, this was a SEMO team, and again, they finally put in Johnny Weber. We've been saying the whole time, put Johnny Weber in, you're going to start winning football games again. And look what happened.
Yeah, they've only lost one game he started all year. Given his stats haven't been crazy, and they've been against the worst teams in the conference.
Also, it was against Tennessee Tech, his other start.
Yeah, and then they benched him.
Lost.
How do you bench your quarterback after losing to one of the top teams in the country when it really wasn't his fault? The world may never know.
Well, let's take a look now at the rest of scores from around the OVC last week. Tennessee Tech finally proving they were mortal against a Kentucky team fighting for bowl eligibility. Their only FBS game, or only FBS opponent of the season, 42-10. Gardner-Webb got the job done against Tennessee State, 30-14. It's trying to see if they can somehow jump back into the playoff pool. But the possibility to just kind of gain. We'll talk about that later. See if they can maybe get an at-large. It's going to be really tough sledding for them. But, who knows at this point. 17-14, as you saw UT Martin over Charleston Southern. 22-17, SEMO over Western Illinois. And Lindenwood getting a big win, 42-12. A dominant win, I may say, over Eastern Illinois to send off their seniors against the Panthers. And we got a special treat for you here today, as it is our last show of this season, we thought it'd be a great idea to look back at everything. Obviously, every single week we do our players of the week. We're looking forward to who the OVC picks, offense, defense, whatever it was. But this week, we decided to look back and see who looked or who had the biggest impact for their teams across the conference, trying to pick an offensive and defensive player of the year. It was a difficult task, very, very difficult to pick just one. There's so many amazing players, but we've made our decisions, we've casted our votes, and this is how we landed. Our offensive player of the year this year is Carson Griesach of Gardner-Webb, and I think very deservedly so. He finishes the year 715 total yards, third in the OVC, 6.4 yards per carry, which landed him in the 4th spot for that, 13 touchdowns, which was first in terms of rushing touchdowns. 64 was his longest run, averaged 65 yards a game, and was the player of the week on October 16th. And again, obviously not the first in stats, and totally understand that. But in terms of his use and his effectiveness, he was, simply put, I think you brought it up a while back. You say, it's always kind of a predictable thing. You put Carson Griesach in, he's just going to run the ball right at you. But every single time, even if you knew what he was going to do, he still managed to push right through him. And that's why he's our offensive player of the year.
Yeah, he's so hard to tackle. That's the thing. He's just a bowling ball. He's 5'11", 215. He's a dense guy. And
a scataboo.
He's a very scataboo type. Now, whether or not, anyways, it wasn't just that he feasted on the bad opponents, because last week he did not have a good week. But you look at him against ranked and FBS teams this year, he's still averaging 6.2 yards per carry. Against ranked teams, against the top teams in the country.
An early Georgia Tech team, I'm going to say. So this is when Georgia Tech was at their peak of the season as well.
He's done amazing work as an RB2. He's an RB2 on this team.
Yeah.
They put him in when they need yardage in short yardage situations, and he doesn't just give you the extra yards you need for a third down. He's giving you a few extra after at every single time because it takes a few guys to tackle him. So just a great season from him. He's a redshirt junior. We get one more year of him, and I'm really excited to see what he does moving forward with the rest of his career.
Absolutely too, and this team as well, just they weren't ranked highly in the preseason polls, and they had a really rough non-conference start, but Griesbach has really been able to pull through for not only the running back position, but like for his team as a whole. I mean, you look through clips of him throughout the season and he is sort of taking on that leadership role of, you know, patting guys' backs after rough games or rough plays, great games, great plays. Like that's the type of player you want on the field, because they're not only going to get the job done, but they're going to lift everybody else up with them, which just is another testament to his character. And obviously, I mean, he is that old school running back. Like he's just gonna bulldoze through people. I mean, you can only say it so many ways. We'll try, but I mean, seriously, he's really pulled through for the team this year, and it's very well deserved.
You know, I love that you mentioned the leadership, because how many times do you see it in the NFL where a guy scores a touchdown, the O-line just carried him, and they don't acknowledge him. I mean, this is the guy after every single play, he's going back with his O-line, he's patting him on the back, he's appreciative of his guys up front. He seems like a really good guy. I've never met him, can't judge that, but he seems like a really fun guy to be a teammate of, so really happy that
He
definitely
passes the eye test.
100%.
Also, it took multiple rounds of voting for us to get on this, by the way. It wasn't
Yes.
Yeah,
unanimous.
this was not an
Back
easy
and
pick.
forth and yes and no.
We
and
had, so many fantastic players. I will say though, for the defensive spot, a little bit easier of a vote because this guy was just so incredible. Again, you open up the first page of the Big South OVC stats, and for the defensive stats, might not be right atop the columns, but he was absolutely incredible when it comes to tackles for loss, sacks, leading the OVC in so many big, crucial defensive categories and setting the Skyhawks up for success. And that is Keyshawn Johnson of UT Martin, our defensive player of the year. And he was flat out incredible. He may not have had the most tackles throughout the season, only 43 total tackles, but second in terms of tackles for loss with 16.5. He was first in total loss yards with 74, average 1.5 tackles for loss per game, and had 11.5 sacks, which is first in the OVC, and 10 of them were solo sacks as well. 9 QB hurries, 2 forced fumbles, was an early player of the week on September 29th, and he right now is sitting at second in the UT Martin all-time single season sack record with that 11.5 point number in sacks. Could break it later today against Tennessee Tech.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you are top 10 in the country in basically a bunch of stats, I think you're a pretty good football player. I'd have to say that this guy might be all right at football. I mean, 7th nationally in sacks and tackles for loss. He's 1.5 sacks away from that record. He's having a top 10 season in UT Martin history for tackles for losses as well. He's not your traditional linebacker. He's just rushing the quarterback every play. But the fact is, he's incredible at it, and he's done it all season long. Dude, he's 6'3", 230, pure muscle, and he's incredibly fast. I mean, look at him get off the line. It's like he's getting off of blocks as a track runner. I mean, he's so fast. Yeah.
It's incredible.
And, you know, we mentioned it earlier, you hate to say it, but he's a junior, a true junior, hasn't redshirted yet. His future is very much up in the air. So the coaching staff, keep this guy here because he definitely has the talent to go elsewhere if he wants to. So sell him, keep him around, because you need somebody like this.
Absolutely. And then also too, I mean, his scores are just ridiculous. He's off the charts. He is a beast on the field. I mean, but then also too, I mean, again, your leadership matters on the field. The way you can connect with your teammates matters. And throughout all of these clips, like that celebration, boom, he's with another person doing the same thing. And there were several clips in there where he is like having his moment, but he's making it a moment with everyone. And I just think that that really matters for team camaraderie, and then also it just shows what type of player you are, and I'm so grateful that the players that we've chosen are ridiculous on the field, and they also seem to care about their teammates, which just makes a person feel good inside.
And not to mention, too, he had game-winning tackles.
Yes.
Most notably, obviously, against Eastern Illinois in overtime. And then this last weekend against Charleston Southern, obviously wouldn't have been a game-winning tackle if that amazing offense wasn't able to grind out 3.5 minutes. But still, getting that sack on that 4th down was massive for this UT Martin team, and that really set them up for this chance to claim an OVC title. But before we get to that game, we'll take a look at the rest of the games going on in the conference. And boy, do we have an absolute fun one for the Eastern Illinois Panthers as they will go to Tuscaloosa, the hardest test of the entire season, and take on Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium. I mean, if you thought Tennessee Tech, Kentucky was crazy, yeah, this is happening later on.
Pray for them. Guys, let's get a prayer circle going for Eastern. Yeah, no, they're not winning this football game, but opportunity to go on the national stage and maybe make some noise. If you score some points, that'd look pretty good, especially with how their offense has been all season long. And kind of wanted to look at them this season. You know, you start off 3-2, 2-0 in the conference. You have a close loss to the number 4 team in the country at the time in Illinois State, who is still a very good team. We all kind of thought that maybe this was a year where they turn the page, where they might contend a little bit. Now, given you're not a Tennessee Tech, but start getting into the win column more, put up some competitive performances, and they just didn't. I mean, 6-game losing streak, you were outgained, they lost a turnover margin in all but one of those games, only one game over 200 passing yards. You lost by an average of 15 points in this losing streak. Like, they weren't close games, they weren't competitive, they weren't putting up good numbers, they weren't consistent. And honestly, coming into this game, I have it written in my notes as more of a joke, but Ty Simpson, dude, stat pad on these guys. Go win yourself a Heisman. Go make your dad proud over at UT Martin. He might win the conference this year, and his son might win the Heisman. That'd be something.
I get too crazy now with Alabama. Just gonna put that out there.
Well,
Why do you say that, huh?
I don't like Alabama.
I don't like Alabama either, but I got family that
they're
went
gonna
there.
be good.
You know?
They'll be pretty good. Obviously, I'm supposed to be as unbiased as I can, but as a Missouri resident, I'm not a big Alabama guy. So just put that out there.
Fair enough.
Well, on the Eastern Illinois side, Juan Kickerson is from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So he's going back. He's a junior linebacker for Eastern Illinois, and he'll be back in his hometown this weekend. And I mean, listen, this is FCS football, right? They're Division I. This is a lot of guys' dreams to play on that big of a field at an SEC school. I mean, granted, they don't have great odds, but you could look at it as a dream come true. They're going to have an entire stadium. Are all of them going to be screaming horrible things that we should not and would not repeat? Yes. But they're still, for lack of a better term, like the center of attention. It's still their football game, and they have a chance to really learn a lot through this. And also, their program's funding is going to thank them for getting their butts handed to them.
True that.
But
is
Juan
very true,
Kickerson, we haven't talked about him enough this season, and he is third in the conference for tackles in this season with 34 solos and 33 assists. So he should be getting played in this game. And my hope is that his friends and family from his hometown, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, are able to get into that stadium and watch him play on the big field.
I do feel bad. It's going to be a 50.5-point difference for Alabama.
Could you imagine if this was in Charleston?
It would never happen, but yeah, it would be nuts.
Like how the city would be overrun.
Easily.
Alcohol would be sold out at half. I mean, probably
A
after
lot
the
of
first
things
quarter.
would be sold out the day before, honestly, for all I know.
Best of luck, Eastern. We wish you the best.
We really do.
Make us proud.
Another good one in the Music City, wrapping up these 2 seasons for Charleston Southern and Tennessee State in Nissan Stadium in Nashville. Always nice, I think, for Tennessee State. They get to play Nissan Stadium. Obviously, unfortunately, they don't fill it up as much as we really wish they would, and not as much as the Titans, but you still get a chance to play in an NFL stadium, and that's what these 2 teams get to do here later today to wrap up their seasons.
It's nice, and you get to play for your seniors, but dude, you went from a conference contender, you made the playoffs, and now you have the bottom 3 offense in the country, you have a bottom 20 team in turnover margin, and you've allowed the most tackles for loss in FCS this season.
Oh.
You can't. I was going through stats, and I knew I had to go to the last page for anything related to Tennessee State, and they were there. I mean, you went from a season where one of the best years in program history, to this. I mean, I know there's a coaching change.
It doesn't help when you lose a Heisman winner in Eddie George.
Yeah, and I mean, he went to Bowling Green. He went to greener pastures. It hasn't worked out for him, unfortunately, this year. But, dude, this is one of the worst back-to-back seasons, comparison-wise, that you could have. And you just got to play for your seniors in this one. I know we're going to get into the keys here in a moment, but that's one of my big things is you got a lot of guys that this was a bad season. You got to win one conference game. So.
Well, then the only way to go is up, right, from here. I mean, and it also just goes to show that you never know what type of season you're going to have. I'm sure this entire team going into the offseason was like, we're going to do great next year. And it goes to show that you can't take things for granted. I mean, football's a sport where injuries are kind of, expected at least at some point. So most players, I would presume, are not taking things for granted. But it really does just go to show that you have to play every single game like it could be your last, and put it out all on the field, because they aren't having a great season compared to last season. I mean, that's just a fact. We can't really sugarcoat that. But the positive side of that is that they really can only go up from here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give them the keys this week. I've been doing this the last few weeks too, where I've had to help Tennessee State out. And to be fair, they have actually tried some of the things that I've mentioned, not because they've listened to me, because they definitely didn't do that.
You never know.
Maybe the coach is watching this right now. Hi, coach. But this week, play for your seniors, and do not let Jonathan Palmer touch the field. 7 for 14, 4 interceptions last week. No. Sorry, no. Can't not have it. You had some good things going your way. They just allowed no sacks for the first time this year. That's good. They struggled to protect their quarterback all season long. And they had their first game over 200 passing yards since October 11th. Most rushing yards since October 30th.
There you go.
Against Gardner-Webb. There's some small things here. I mean, take the little wins. I say it down there on the graphic. Little wins, they mean a lot. And they slowly start to build over time. I think confidence-wise, they'll be in a better spot coming in because they've had a little bit of success versus Gardner-Webb.
Absolutely. And to speak on the flip side for Charleston Southern, I mean, this team, again, they started the season last in the preseason polls, and they have clawed their way up to number 5 currently. And the way this game stands, they're likely to take the dub. And
so they're losing.
Yeah, we say they win, now they're going to lose.
Listen.
That's what's happened all season long.
And you know what? Maybe it would be a blessing for Tennessee State, all right? But I'm rooting for Charleston Southern. I have them as my person today. I get to say that. But if they win, it would be their first time since 2019 where they have won 5 games and finished. Because in 2019, or shoot, did I mix that up? They're seeking their first 5-win season since 2019. Yeah, no, I got it right. Because in 2019, they ended with a 6-6 split, right? It would be great if they could win 5. They just really honestly need to play their game. Playing against UT Martin, did I just rip them to shreds in the highlights? Yes, all right? But they're playing the team that has the most possession. They're playing the team that, they're number 2 for a reason, right? And the fact that Charleston Southern was not only able to keep pace, but also get ahead at some points in that game, that means something. So I really think that if they stick to the game that they were playing last week, that they will be fine. Specifically, I want them to out-endure Tennessee State, which, because they were able to keep up with UT Martin, they did get tired. But, I mean, that is a feat in of itself. And I think that between, having a great ground game and air game, that's only going to help them. Tennessee State, they've been struggling defensively. If you can mix things up, it's going to confuse them. And just having Steve Zajkowski on the field is just in of itself going to be a menace for the Tigers.
He's kind of good at football.
Just a little bit. He might have earned his place on the team.
I'm going to make a baseball reference here. I know baseball season's over, but the White Sox finished 2 years ago with the worst record ever. The season after, they start seeing improvement, and another team washes that away in the Rockies and gets all the attention off of them. Mm-hmm. Tennessee State, they are the Rockies. Charleston Southern, they showed fight this year. They're starting to find pieces. They're building in the right direction. This is what you want to see out of your program. You can't sit at the bottom forever, and the fact is they have the right man coaching, they have the right man under center, and overall this team is playing good, hard football week in and week out. This week should be no different. Got to finish off the season on a high note.
Well, 2 teams again, 1 team trying to finish on a high note, and another team, their last chance to make a case for the committee. It's going to be a dog battle here today, taking over in Boiling Springs, West Illinois, Gardner-Webb in a Leatherneck v. Running Bulldog battle in North Carolina. And as I mentioned, this is the last game from Western Illinois, trying to go on the high note. They've been through the ups and downs all over the place. Don't know where to go with it, but hey, you just got to see if you can pick up one more win. Gardner-Webb, on the other hand, they need to get a win in order to just sniff a chance at possibly getting a selection from the committee for an at-large bid.
Yeah, I know we'll talk about that later and kind of break all of it down, but you kind of need a blowout this week. You need to catch the committee's eye, but what it did catch my eye is they were picked 6th in the preseason poll. They have a lot of talent on this roster. They have a great head coach. They've had a great season. They could finish with 8 wins. I mean, that'd be outstanding for this program. And yet, if you asked them if they were satisfied, what would they tell you? I mean, yeah, on paper, I would say yes, but I think they know that they should have probably had a chance to win the conference this year, that they should have been a playoff team. With the way that they've played and that one unfortunate loss to UT Martin, I don't know if they would consider it a success. From the outside, I want your guys' opinion. I think it is a success just to be able to build and become a competitor. But if Nate Hampton stays healthy, right, they don't lose that game to UT Martin, where could they be in the rankings? I think they could still be in there.
I think it's the what ifs that always keep people up at night, like the players, having played games myself in different sports. I mean, it really is the what ifs. So, I mean, we could go back and forth on that for probably a really long time. I would consider their season to be a success. I know they weren't ranked as highly as maybe they might have thought of themselves. I also think that most teams probably think higher of themselves than they perform. You know, you put in all of that work on the field in the preseason, and most teams, I feel like, go into the season thinking that they're going to do better than they are going to be doing. But I consider it a success.
Yeah.
Gardner-Webb right now, they are sitting with 13 votes in the AFCA coaches poll, which is typically what they gauge off of up until the little bit different with the obviously CFP poll. That's the last few weeks of the season, but AFCA coaches poll, that usually goes all the way until the committee rankings with seeding and everything. So technically right now, Gardner-Webb is sitting 30th based on number of votes. So they would be, give or take, if you were to base it just off of the top 24, they would be the 6th team out. Of course, obviously not every conference champion is going to be in the top 25. So, and again, we'll break that down here later on. It's going to be a hard fight, but they really have to take this game and convince voters to move them up a lot higher if they want to sniff a chance.
One of those voters is Tennessee Tech's AD. And I definitely know he watched that game this year and sees what they're capable of, so we'll see if that gets taken into consideration. But for Gardner-Webb, you got to make the playoffs. How are you going to do it? You got Western Illinois, a game that you should just win outright, but not just win outright. You need a blowout. You need something that's going to stand out to the committee. So here's my hot take of the week. Unless you are backed up all the way in your own zone, no punts on anything less than 4th and 5. Go.
Wow.
Go for it. I need them to go for it. They need to go for it. You need to run up the score. They're not going to look at the game and be like, wow, look at how they did it. They're just going to see the score line, see the stats, and say, wow, this Gardner-Webb team, they're something. They're dominant. Look at this performance. I mean, you saw what Tennessee Tech did earlier this year to Western. It needs to be more of that, because that's how Tennessee Tech got ranked so high this year, is blowing teams out that you're supposed to beat, not just barely squeaking by. Against Western, that's what needs to happen. I mean, you have 8 wins, a borderline ranked win, you know, Abilene Christian, and I shouldn't know, that was Western Carolina, excuse me. Purple teams with 3-letter acronyms with a C in it. Anyways, and then you barely lost to Tennessee Tech. It's not enough. You need one more thing and things to go your way. So go out there and beat the brakes off the Leathernecks, be aggressive, get the job done.
I mean, yeah, Western Illinois is not coming into this thinking that they're going to blow out Gardner-Webb. I mean, let's just be real here. You guys, I mean, you're not wrong with anything you're saying. I do want to point out, though, Markel Holman is coming off a hell of a game against SEMO. He needs to be on the field. He needs to keep his mentality strong, and he needs to let that infect the rest of Western Illinois. The Leathernecks, I mean, they've had some good games this season, right? I mean, specifically winning against Lindenwood for our homecoming game. That was good football on their part. And they, speaking more onto Markel Holman, he's 2nd in the league right now with 926 rushing yards. So this is gonna be a face-off of the top 2 running backs in the conference. I'm really excited to see how Carson Griesbach and Markel Holman manage this game, honestly, and who can make it their game. And Markel Holman's also had his 400-yard game of the season last week. Carson Carswell, he's had 11 touchdowns in the past 6 games, averaging at least 1 touchdown per game. There's some good things happening. There's some good momentum. This team is starting to figure out, starting to build. And the last 5 of their games are close. If there had been one more scoring point, the fate of that game would have changed. So it's not like they're getting blown out the water, right? They have a fighting chance. They really just need to dig deep and find that last few spurts of energy and really just push through. And I think that they could make this game interesting, or at the very least a strong challenge for Gardner-Webb, especially if Gardner-Webb decides to pull out all the stops and really be ballsy with their choices. I mean, if they decide to not punt, if they decide to do several different things that would be, quite frankly, risky, potentially. But I mean, they have some chance here to win. I mean, specifically, 2 of the 3 games have been decided. 2 of the past 5 games, have been so close. Like, it's so close. They're tasting it on the tip of their tongue, and they really just need to push through on that.
So then what do we make of their season? I mean, Western Illinois, yeah, you've been like a bottom dweller. You've had seasons where you haven't won games recently.
That is tough.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's not a failure, but there's still so much to work for. It's kind of like, sadly, it's just like, you don't want to say it's another one of those seasons, but it's just kind of a season you just look back on and say, well, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but could have been a lot better.
Well, let me get on my soapbox then, because I think that Western Illinois has had a ton of progress, right? At the beginning of their season, they could not protect their quarterback to save their life. Now Carson Grisak has the Casey Carswell.
A lot of C names. Yeah.
So
many
C
C's and
names.
Carsons and
Casey Carswell, he's now able to take some time in the pocket to figure out what he wants to do. Now, is he Jason Bauer who can run it if that pocket gets collapsed? Not right now, all right? But Casey's a freshman, right? So I feel like this team has had a lot of small wins that if they don't necessarily translate to everyone in this season, if they're able to maintain those wins, it's totally gonna transfer over into next season.
Yeah, we just gotta keep some of that talent around. I mean, you had so many games this year where they found a way to lose, right? All these one-score games. Flip a few of those over and you look at the season way differently. Got to keep some of these young, talented players they have on their team, and that's tough to do at this level, but the coaching staff has to be up to it moving forward.
It's going to be an interesting offseason for Western Illinois, but got one more game until you're there. One more game for 2 more teams as well. A rivalry, not a lot of trophies are handed out for rivalries in the OVC. You have the barbecue brawl with the cute little piggy trophy. I love that thing. And then you also have the game ball brawl trophy and the game ball brawl going on in Cape Girardeau later on. Lindenwood, SEMO, and I would honestly say is becoming one of the more heated rivalries in the OVC Big South, especially after last year. What a matchup that was between these 2 teams. In the rain, SEMO, a top 10 team, number 6 at the time. Lindenwood, that was the first ever win against a top 10 opponent in the FCS. And what a game it was. And it's just setting up for another incredible game here today. I mean, it doesn't matter who wins. I just know this game is going to be a fight. They've shifted it towards the end of the season, and it's just become the pinnacle for these 2 teams. And you really hope this is something that just gets played for years on end. It's only a few years old. It's just a little baby rivalry right now, and it'll be awesome to see it grow into just a huge rivalry. And it seems like already in its infancy, it has become so heated, so tough, such a hard-fought battle every single year, especially the past few years between these 2 teams.
Well, I will say we'd be remiss to not mention the first 2 times they faced off. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't much of a rivalry, and personally, I felt it was a bit forced. Okay, new team to D1, you're in Missouri, you're supposed to hate each other. Well, last year when you take a team that's number 6 in the country and they have a stinker against you and you could celebrate with a trophy in their face with a Gatorade bath, that makes them a little upset. I don't think SEMO was very happy after that one.
Ruined their seeding as well for the playoffs later on, dropped them down after that game, kind of really messed up their spot after the season as well going into the playoffs.
It was just all downhill from there. You can see the momentum was sucked out of them. So they want to win in this one badly. For Lindenwood on the season, right? You have a lot of seniors. You had some nice games, but no real upsets. Like against your peers and against teams that you needed to beat to win the conference, they got their pants pulled down. I mean, they got pantsed in a few of these where, the Gardner-Webb game, huge implications, didn't really show up. Tennessee Tech game, the lightning delays just killed them in that one. The momentum was sucked right out of this team. But, I mean, dude, you look at them the last 2 seasons, they went 2-4 against top half teams. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. You can't just beat up on the Eastern Illinois of the world or the Tennessee States. You got to win the big ones. So I don't know. I mean, you're losing so much talent. Do you call it a success? I'm iffy. I think the jury's still out, especially with this week. If you win this week, I lean more towards success, but it almost feels like stagnation.
I feel like just a little bit of a drop off. Last year, I thought last year for Lindenwood, just from where they were at, obviously first season was a little bit different and a lot of different scheduling. It's a little bit easier opponents. But obviously last year was a really, really difficult schedule. Still, I'd say a success for the Lions. But this year, a lot of expectations, and I would say not bad, just a drop off.
Yeah. I'm with you on that, because you have so many players that put up great numbers. Like Nate Glantz, he's towards the top of the conference and everything. You have good receivers. You have a good run game towards the end of the year. But you found ways to lose games, and you didn't really keep them close. And then the Western game's inexcusable. I look back on that one and say, that was a game you just can't lose if you want to be taken seriously. And this is the team that beat UT Martin, and badly.
Outplayed them early in conference play.
Like 60 minutes of beat-down football where UT Martin couldn't do anything. They couldn't really possess the football. They couldn't move it. A lot of punting. Like, there's signs here. There were so many good signs for Lindenwood. And yes, we're biased. We're on the campus of Lindenwood University. I'm a Lindenwood fan. I was doing the camera work for the SEMO game last year, rooting my butt off. But I just can't bring myself to say this is a success when you have all these people leaving and you didn't accomplish anything.
I think in a measure of looking at success is, did we do better than last season, right? Lindenwood is still very new to Division I football, and I think that there has been a lot better everything in this season. Now, do I think it's comparable to the other teams? Not necessarily. I think that's where it becomes really easy to start dogging on yourself, right? But as a team that is new to Division I football, is new to the conference, relatively speaking, I think they're doing better, right? They made it into the top 4 of the conference at one point. It was earlier in the season before, James, you had mentioned they sort of fell off, dropped off. But I think that there are good seeds being planted. I think we just might need to tend to those seeds a little bit more, help them grow. Specifically Nate Glantz. I mean, last season he was not the talk of the town. There was a lot of hate here on our quarterback. And this season it's nothing.
Why you don't check Fizz? Don't check Fizz, guys.
We love him, he's doing great. So I think, there's pros there, and I think that is one of them.
Yeah, and at the same time, too, SEMO does find themselves obviously not as successful as the Caesars last season. Quite a different turn of events for them. Not as bad as a comparable season, I guess, at Tennessee State, but I mean, still far from success. Now, in the good side of it, though, they found a quarterback, Johnny Weber, freshman, stepping in big, and I kind of expect him to be leading this team for a while.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the season, right, and it started off badly. You had some nice wins here and there, and they were a somewhat competitive football team. They just didn't have the guys. Like, they couldn't block. If you don't have an O-line, if your running backs aren't helping out, your tight ends can't block, you're not going to win many football games. And the fact is, they found a way to win some. And they're still a well-coached team. They had energy until the end of the season. But, I mean, it doesn't mean anything, right? You didn't make the playoffs. You're a team that's supposed to be a perennial contender in this conference. You're supposed to be a playoff team. They're not. So this offseason, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do and the type of talent they bring in.
Well, it's going to be a really fun Saturday, and it's going to be capped off with probably the game of the year. It is going to be the battle for the OVC title. UT Martin versus Tennessee Tech. This is our game of the week, pretty much also game of the year in Cookeville, in an amazing dogfight for an automatic bid, possibly also sending 2 teams based on the result. It's going to be really tight. And I just want to, before we get too nuts here, I'm just going to throw out some numbers here. All time, this is a rivalry that goes back to 1926. First meeting ever between Tennessee Tech, UT Martin, 1926. Had a little bit of a gap in the middle of the 1900s, and then they picked it back up again, slowly started working, and then all of a sudden they became conference opponents again. This game's been played every year since 1991. This has been it was an incredible streak for UT Martin. They had an 11-game win streak before finally Tennessee Tech won last year in a 1-point game, 10-9, against UT Martin, who was number 18 at the time. A 10-point first quarter, held on the rest of the time, only allowed 9 points in the fourth, got the win, and again, that set them up for a really good end of the season for the Golden Eagles. The last time they've won 2 in a row against UT Martin, 2011-2012.
Ooh, yeah, it's been a minute.
13 years since they've won 2 in a row. So, and again, this is a UT Martin team that's got so much to win. I mean, Tennessee Tech is practically in already at this point, whether they win or lose, where they're at right now. Just a question if UT Martin can grab it. This is going to be a really, really fun game. This has been historically, at least in the past couple years, it's gotten tight. Ever since that last loss, UT Martin, they really took it personal after 2012. Everything's been relatively distant for UT Martin. I mean, there's a 55-14 win back in 2019 between these two. And it was 42-3 just a few years ago, but then all of a sudden 45-28. And then an overtime win for UT Martin, 44-41. And then last year, it finally flipped the script in a low-scoring game, only 19 points combined for the 10-9 score line. And now they play end of the season for a title.
You say 10-9 last year, ugly win for Tennessee Tech. UT Martin needs to win ugly here. That's probably the only way they're going to win. But yeah, biggest game in association history. It's not a long history, but the winner automatically into the playoffs, conference champion, and they win the Sergeant York Trophy. So bragging rights, rivalry, championships, playoffs, it's all here in this football game. And I know you look at the scheduling on the season, I know Coach Wilder was not happy about it. Kind of a cupcake schedule to start, then you get Kentucky late. But he will tell you that this season was completely expected. I mean, they were ranked in the preseason. They blew out all their non-cons like they were supposed to do. They have playmakers at every position. This is the best year in program history for them. I mean, I think this is a team that could potentially make a deep run in the playoffs. I like the way they match up against some of these other top foes. They are a really solid football team. They've had themselves a great season. I don't think we could have asked anything more from them.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, they were humbled in their first loss of the season last week, and that just only further adds to your point of they really have just about smashed every expectation placed on them for the season. I think next season is going to be quite difficult for them to live up to the standards they've built for themselves, but again, they've just had a great season. UT Martin on the flip side of that though, right? They've had a great season, and as you mentioned earlier, Jacob, I mean, before we go into all of our specific details for the teams. I mean, UT Martin's also had a great season, right? This game isn't necessarily guaranteed to be a Golden Eagles victory, right? I mean, UT Martin, they've been on a bit of a hot streak recently, and they're finding more of their groove, so.
We thought they sucked to start the year. I mean, realistically, you look at their non-con hard games.
Yeah, non-con was really rough.
Not really able to put up a fight, right?
No.
Yeah,
Oklahoma State. That being said, the really, really tight schedule. They played Oklahoma State, obviously Oklahoma State, yeah, it's Oklahoma State. We won't worry about that. UTEP, who's getting a little bit better in their conference. Southern Illinois, who at the time was 14th. They now currently sit just outside of the top 25, but still a really strong Southern Illinois team. And then followed that up against fresh FBS team, Missouri State, before going into conference play. Took down SEMO to start, lost to Lindenwood. They started off 1-1. They thought, oh, it's just not looking too hot. And then all of a sudden they go on a 5-game heater. And not just any 5-game heater, a pretty dominant 5-game heater. That being said, though, they did have just an overtime win against Eastern Illinois. They had some tight battles, a 1-score game against Western Illinois, but they blew out Gardner-Webb. And got a big win, obviously, against Tennessee State. Picked up a huge win against Charleston Southern, who's just on the up. So we'll talk about it a little bit more later, but also UT Martin, I think it's going to be a tough resume to push to the committee voters to the committee if they don't win. But that being said, they've been really, really good to close out the season. And I mean, it's just going to be such a hard-fought battle here in Cookeville.
And just to piggyback off of what you just said, Jacob, they have saved themselves this season. It wasn't looking out good. I mean, I remember, helping produce the show, and I was like, ooh, it's a rough go for UT Martin right now. But they are pulling as they were expected to now, right? They were placed at number 2 on the preseason polls. So they're showing up and playing now. And yes, they did have some rough games this season, especially towards the beginning, but I really feel like they found their footing. So I think that they do have a shot. I mean, yes, they are gonna really have to razzle and dazzle in order to be considered to maybe get a spot. But I think it could happen. And if they do win this game, it'll be their first 7-win conference season, period, for UT Martin, which would be awesome for the program as a whole.
I mean, they won a playoff game last year. They were the only team. It was a 3-bid conference, which is crazy to think about now with this season. They won a playoff game. They're no strangers to big games, but Tennessee Tech. All right, let's get into these keys. They are the better team. They know they're the better team. They got slapped last week by an FBS team, an SEC team. I think in this game they're going to come in hot. I mean, I know the coach was upset about that game. The players got to be feeling pretty bad about that game. They want to go back out there and win a conference next week, redeem themselves for that game. And the way you do it is stay balanced offensively, because UT Martin's run defense is really solid. And you've seen the last few games for Tennessee Tech, at least in the conference. They had 2 of their worst offensive performances of the year because they were all under their rushing yard averages. When they can't run the football, it seems like they struggle a little bit. They're still good. I mean, we're not going to take anything away from Kekoa Vesperis. I mean, see the throws he's making right now. It's all off of play action because the run game sets it up. And in this game, that is the key. Play action. Make sure Kekoa Vesperis is part of the game plan. Get him involved early and actually throw the ball on passing downs. They've ran the ball a lot this year when maybe they don't need to because it's easy. They're good at it. But in this football game, it is a playoff game. For the other team, for you, you're trying to win a conference. You cannot come into this being one-dimensional. You have to mix things up because you know how good UT Martin can be. You know you're not going to get a lot of possessions because they're going to hang on to the football forever. Make sure you're still throwing the ball. Because remember Gardner-Webb game? Remember how they just tried to run it and run it and run it and realized, to hell with this. We have a really good quarterback and great receivers.
Yeah.
It took them way too long in that game to realize that. Can't happen here. Got to recognize the early signs and correct yourself.
Well, also too, just to speak on the flip side of that, I mean, UT Martin's got a good running and ground game, and they have been utilizing both. Last week, they had over 400 offensive yards, 252 for passing, and the rest of that was rushing. And I just want to say, you were talking about how, Tennessee Tech, they just got handed their first loss. Their coaching staff is mad. The players are probably frustrated. I mean, I would be too if I had just lost my first game of the season. UT Martin's bringing a different type of heat into this game, right? Specifically, Jace Bauer, they need to let him cook and let him marinate in his juju from last week because he ate down with his performance last week. Specifically, his running game, right? I mean, we've talked about this so many times, but the fact is, that man has legs and he can use them and he's not afraid to, which is awesome because he's had over 54 yards, 6 carries, averaging 9 yards per carry. I mean, that just deserves a round of applause, right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
So what you're saying is we should get some ZZ Top playing because he's got legs and he knows how to use it.
Indeed,
Heck
indeed.
yeah. I
And
love that.
last time I was on this show, it was Gardner-Webb versus Tennessee Tech when Gardner-Webb was still number 2, right? And I'm excited. It's the last conference game of the season. And it is, again, top 2 teams playing. It's going to be an absolute showdown. Specifically, I also want to mention that it's the red zone that's going to make the difference here, right? I said this earlier, but it's a good thing that Bauer can run because Tennessee Tech is number 1 for sacking right now. And UT Martin is, they're up there and being able to, skirt some things, but it's a great thing that Bauer can run because they're gonna be infiltrating the pocket and he needs to be able to make quick decisions at the drop of a dime that might not be ideal, which we saw last week he was able to do with Charleston Southern, right? Now, Charleston Southern, are they at Tennessee Tech? No.
Absolutely
but
not.
Still, baby steps, baby steps. And UT Martin's also number 1 for kickoffs, whereas Tennessee Tech is number 1 for punting. So I find like that's going to be an interesting sort of battle. And then the last thing I have to say is that UT Martin leads field goals with 85% completion rate, whereas Tennessee Tech is 50%, right? So
They don't
if
kick
we
very
can,
often, though. There's their problem.
this is very true. I think they've had it's either 4 or 8 field goals this season or attempts. But overall speaking, if UT Martin, I mean, points count. When you're on the clock, I mean, both of these teams are scoring heavy, but points are points. And having the reliability of your field goal kicker it could make the difference in this game.
We know UT Martin has a great kicker. I mean, this could come down to field goal at the end of the game. So both teams, special teams, be on it. We're not forgetting about you.
We're not.
Do your job. That's the problem with special teams. They only get in the news if they don't do their job. We have to give it. I mean, we had a punt highlight reel today. Let it be known we love our special teams here.
As a former kicker, it hurts. It really does. I mean, one-year kicker, but
you did
former kicker. I did it, and it hurts to see it. It really, really does. I wish kickers got more recognition. Also because I was a soccer player. So.
Oh, you were that guy.
Oh yeah, I was that guy on my high school football team. So let's take a look at the standings here coming into our final Saturday of play here in the OVC Big South. So I doubt this is how it's going to end up at the end of today. So this is what it looks like now. Tennessee Tech up top, trying to seal the deal, hold that spot. All they need is a win, outright champs, automatic berth. UT Martin fighting for their share for a chance at a conference championship. Gardner-Webb, Lindenwood, Charleston Southern, SEMO, Western Illinois, Eastern Illinois, and Tennessee State all rounding it out. And I think the biggest outliers here, Eastern Illinois, obviously that 6-game losing streak. And that's not just conference, that's overall. And the UT Martin 5-game win streak, as we mentioned before. You see all those different streaks, and I mean, they've just been incredible. Gardner-Webb right now 7-4, and again, we've talked about it. A pretty good year. They just, can they get enough of the votes? That will really be a really interesting thing to look for when they do the selection. But speaking of the FCS playoffs, because it's the last game day, we are going to try and set up a little bit of the FCS playoffs, our predictions, of course, obviously with the OVC, and a little bit, extra about maybe some seeding, what might look like across the board. Very excited, obviously, as growing up in northern Minnesota and just kind of in that area. I've always been an NDSU guy ever since moving up there. So yes, I kind of hop on the bandwagon, but that was also 10 plus years ago. So I don't think it counts. So
that's fair.
Yeah. Plus, I was like really young.
We'll let you off the hook.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. I was young. They looked cool. Bison are my favorite animal. We're just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Great colors, great style. Everything
Amazing
about
place.
them, great.
Yeah. Anyway, but this is what we have right now. So Tennessee Tech, they're in the 8th spot. A little bit of a questionable jump. In front of them, Villanova, Mercer, Tarleton State, Lehigh, Montana State, Montana, North Dakota State. Simply put, top 3. That is pretty much solidified. There might be a change in Montana State. North Dakota State, if somehow they lose to St. Thomas, might get a change. Well, if they lose to St. Thomas, they're definitely dropping. But as of right now, I do not see that happening.
St. Thomas isn't a bad football team this year.
No, they're really not. But that being said, though, it is NDSU.
Yeah, they should take care of business.
Yeah, so in terms of top 3, might see some changes, but the top 3 is pretty much solidified. That's just going to happen. Obviously, Montana State, they're playing each other. So that's just, they're not going to, drastically remove themselves from the top 3 unless it's a blowout win for one or the other. Now, Lehigh, 11-0, makes sense at the number 4 spot. Tarleton State, though, they're 10-1, but they have a loss to Abilene Christian not too long ago. Abilene Christian, who jumped up to 18 now, they're 7-4. Mercer, 9-1, and Villanova, 8-2, though 2 losses is a pretty tough team. Tennessee Tech, obviously, the really only reason that they are at number 8 and not any higher is because of their strength of schedule. So, talking about this game day here, Tennessee Tech wins. Do we see them jumping up any higher? Just not taking into account of the 7 through 4, any losses, any wins whatsoever. Doesn't really matter. If you just say, don't worry about Tennessee Tech, they win today, do they get a higher seeding?
They need to win big, I think, because UT Martin is not an impressive team to most people. You look at their non-con schedule to start the year, they played a ranked team, got their butts handed to them. So I don't think a lot of people view UT Martin the same way we do since we watch them each week, especially on the committee. So I don't know if Tennessee Tech's going to get a big boost. Yeah, you win your conference, and it's an important game, but they need to win by a few scores if they're going to move up, and then someone else needs to lose for them to really realistically move up 2 spots. They might move up 1 just off of a big win, but if they want to move up any further than that, they're going to need some help.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to make any major progress on if they bump up or bump it down, or I don't think it's possible that they're going to go any further than just like 1 spot. especially because UT Martin, I mean, we've been seeing them week in and week out, so we can kind of get a more appreciative, wholesome sort of gratitude for that team and what they have to offer for the conference, but I'm not entirely positive that's going to be enough to be a blowout.
Now, can I say this, though? Gardner-Webb is the most intriguing one for me because you know UT Martin, they lose, they're out. They're not getting in. They're not getting anything
Unfortunately, because of the beginning of the season, they're probably not getting in there.
Right, so you look at, there's two conferences. You have the NEC and Pioneer. You have Central Connecticut and Drake clogging up spots for the playoffs where they're not ranked. They're not amazing. Their conferences are just not that good this year. And that forces Presbyterian, who is 9-2 with a ranked win over Mercer, into the bubble. That's one team now that Gardner-Webb has to compete with. The Ivy League, potentially 2 bids. Yale versus Harvard today. Either one of those teams is going to be in the bubble. And then Lafayette and Lehigh, they're playing against each other.
The oldest rivalry, I may add, in all of college football between those two, by the way.
And it's a big game. It's a huge game because Lehigh loses, Lafayette, conference, auto bid, Lehigh, bubble. That is bad for Gardner-Webb. There's so many good teams sitting there.
Yeah, and even if Lehigh loses, I don't think there's enough to say that they're going to drop out of the top 25
No
at
way.
all.
No
So
way.
I know even if Lehigh loses, I think they're still in, which obviously, like you said, that's not good for Gardner-Webb at all. Because now at these ranked teams that are looking like just outright champs or so on and so forth, they lose. I mean, all of a sudden now you're getting more than just one team from each conference, and then that really muddies it up for Gardner-Webb, who's because they're not going to get the auto bid. I mean, that's obviously. So
Yeah.
the only way in is a convincing win. It's going to be really, really hard to get that if more teams are just clogging it up with outside of the top 24 auto bids.
Yeah, it's so tough with all these different conferences because you never know. I mean, are they going to be 2-bid, 3-bid? You saw last year the OVC Big South. Nobody thought it was going to be a 3-bid conference, and some teams got screwed over because of it. And Gardner-Webb is on the other side of it this year where they want to make the playoffs. They have the team to do it. They have the coaches to do it. I would bet, and if they do make it, hold me to this, I don't care who they play in the first round. I think they're advancing. They're a good football team. They are really well coached. They have so much talent, and they can beat you in so many different ways. You can't lose to UT Martin during the season. He was a backup quarterback, 4 interceptions and a fumble, I believe. Yeah, it sucks, but you couldn't lose that one. And now you're having to hope for help, and I don't think they're going to get it.
I mean, yeah, you guys don't make a very convincing argument that they're going to get that help. Now, if they do, it's going to be great for them because, as you've mentioned, they're such a well-rounded team that they would, I mean, they make football, whatever conference they're in, whoever they're playing, better because it's every aspect of the ball that they've got good game on, and having the opportunity to play against teams that are competing at a higher level would be awesome for them. But is it going to happen? Stay tuned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, the case for Gardner-Webb right now, I mean, they'd be 8-4 if they're able to win, 8-2 against the FCS, really strong strength of schedule, but don't have any wins of really quality. No wins coming over a team with a 500 record. Their best win being Western Carolina. So
that was a preseason ranking. It's like,
yeah, it's going to be really, really tough. So transition into everybody's favorite segment. It is Who You Got? We love doing this every single game day. I really hope we keep this tradition going. It's just so fun to take a look at it. Over time, of course, over the season, we've kind of kept a tally of each game day and how we've done so far. So first, we'll take a look at that and take a look at our records so far. Obviously, we haven't had obviously one person has at the 3 seat, likes to get the rotation, gets different views in. I myself, sadly, didn't do that good. Just one off. I went 15-9. Really wish that was a little better. James, a little bit better yourself, 16-8. That's not bad. And then our third spot combined also for 16-8. I don't, really not that bad. I mean, that's well over 500. That's a winning record right there. I mean, that would be a really good playoff record to have.
Yeah,
so,
it would.
There's that.
I wish the Blues were playing like that. Anyways.
Sadly, this is not a hockey show. We already have our own gripes. If you want to catch hockey, STL Sports Central. Anyway, let's get into our first game. We're going to start it off with Charleston Southern, or Tennessee State at Charleston Southern in Charleston to wrap it up. Tigers, Buccaneers, and James, we'll start with you.
Well, Tennessee State really hasn't put up much of a fight over the last few weeks. They've been building slowly. You've seen some nice improvements here and there, but it's really just trying to cover up their own faults as a football team. Look, if you go into the definition and you look up the word fight, Charleston Southern is right there. I mean, this team, they're so gritty. They find ways to win. And last week, yeah, they didn't win. That was a team playing for their playoff lives, playing for their conference lives, and they almost pulled off a win. I just don't see a way Tennessee State wins this football game. Give me the Buccaneers. They are just the better team. They're more motivated, and they know how to win football games.
I'm taking Charleston Southern as well because they have a lot of momentum. I mean, granted, they did just lose to UT Martin, and for a lot of big teams in the conference, that would be a big hit, right? But they've already clawed their way up from the bottom, right? So the fact that they're at where they're at now, I'm sure that they're grateful and that they're hungry to extend that lead.
Yeah. I mean, this has been a great season for them. I see no reason why they don't get it done. Do you have a rebuttal?
No. We'd like to congratulate Tennessee State on their third win of the season as we have a clean sweep with Charleston Southern.
First conference win, yeah!
We really have a problem with doing that. No, I love Zoltan Osborne. I think he's going to go out with a bang in this season. They've been playing so well, and they've been, I mean, after a shaky start, they've been one of the highest trending teams throughout the season. Obviously unable to get a win, but like you said, I mean, that was against a team fighting for their lives in UT Martin. So, but I think, I mean, this is just Tennessee State, Tennessee. It's sad to say Tennessee State is just Tennessee State. They're not going to get the win. Charleston Southern getting the win. Next up, our dog fight. Battle of the Dogs. Western Illinois at Gardner-Webb. It'd be a tough one for the Leathernecks on the road for the final game of the season. Gardner-Webb, obviously, need a convincing win for an FCS playoff spot. A sniff at it, really.
Yeah, they really do need a win. And they're also a real football team. And I say that because they show up in big games, and this also happens to be a big game. They really don't let people down consistently, where Western Illinois, you can't trust them to win a football game, no matter where they're at. I mean, the Lindenwood game was basically handed to them, and they won, yes. But the other games where they've been against teams where they've played above their head, they still find a way to lose. And you have Gardner-Webb, who they're more talented, they're better coached, they need this game. I don't see any way Western wins this one unless Cole Pennington has a week from hell and throws like 5 picks, which I don't think he's gonna do. He got all his picks out in that one game against UT Martin earlier this year. Yeah. Give me the running Bulldogs. Hopefully they make the playoffs.
I'm taking Gardner-Webb as well, just because they've shown a lot of consistency throughout the season, and I just really believe that they've got a lot going for them.
Well, we'd like to congratulate Western Illinois on win number 4. Yeah, I'm going to take Gardner-Webb as well. I like Griesach. He's our player of the year. I mean, he's just incredible. My hot take is I think Griesach's going to rush for over 100 yards in this game. I think he's going to go off.
He's going to break one for sure.
Oh, 100%. So, I mean, picks historically say if it's a clean sweep, the other team wins. But in this situation, I think again, this is a Gardner-Webb team that's got too much to fight for, and they're like they have to fight for it, and it's not even a guarantee. So they know how much they have to just punish Western Illinois in order to just get a lick of a playoff spot. So we move on down I-55 where we are at, down to Cape Girardeau. Game ball brawl between the Lions and the Red Hawks. I think it's going to be an incredible game. I really wish I could go down to Cape to see this one. Fortunately, I'm a little busy, but I would love to go down and watch this game. James, we'll start off with you. Who do you got in the game ball brawl?
Dude, I mean, you saw what happened last year, right? And you also see that SEMO this year, when teams rush for over 180 yards against them, they're 0-5. Lindenwood has been doing that. They have been running the ball really well as of late. But for whatever reason, I can't shake this. It's my 4th year at Lindenwood University. I've watched almost every game they've played. When they are playing a football game versus a peer, against a team that is on their level, they find new ways to screw it up. SEMO has, I think, more momentum coming in. Yes, Lindenwood, they just blew out an opponent. SEMO just won a close football game where everybody did their jobs at the end. Where Lindenwood kind of just got to ride off into the sunset on senior night, and that was just kind of it. I think SEMO takes this one. I really do. I mean, Lindenwood's the better team talent-wise, but SEMO with the momentum they have, the coaching they have, and the fact is, they're mad after last year. They're going to be coming in hot. I got to take the Red Hawks. It hurts my soul. It really does, but give me SEMO.
See, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm taking SEMO because I know that despite their, not so great streak of when the other team rushes over 105 yards, right? Lindenwood defensively is the worst team in the league right now. I mean, we do just kind of have to let that marinate, and I think that SEMO's got a lot of great things going for them, and I think that they're absolutely going to crush it.
Well, you know how much I love the Johnny Weber story. I love how he's been playing. I love him so much. But I am so stubborn, and I just can't go against it. There's something in me. I refuse to just admit my wrongdoings. And because of that, I say 2 in a row for Lindenwood here. They get a win on the road, bring the trophy back home, hold on to it. They take down SEMO. So now, it is time for our final pick of the season, our game of the week, our game of the year. Pretty much the OVC, it is the OVC championship game. UT Martin on the road in Cookeville, what will be a very harsh environment for the Golden Eagles. It's going to be so exciting. Oh my gosh, I don't even have words to say how amazing this game is going to be. I already know it. I haven't even played it. I already know it's going to be fantastic. So James, start with you. Game of the year. Who you got?
I'm going to say I think this has potential to be the most attended game in OVC Big South history. It is by far the biggest game in this association's history. It's a rivalry game. It's going to be loud. It's going to be rocking. Both teams are going to be well represented in this one. But I look at the play styles of these teams, and UT Martin this season has kind of had to play perfect football to win games. Like, they stay ahead of the sticks. They're not really explosive. They slowly drive down the field. I think Tennessee Tech has too many game wreckers. They're going to get a big sack, a big tackle for loss. It's going to put them behind the sticks. They're going to have to punt, and you just can't give Tennessee Tech too many opportunities. I think they're going to get them. I think they're going to capitalize. The Golden Eagles will be your OVC Big South champions this season.
I really think that the Golden Eagles just want it more. I also can see, though, why the Screaming Eagles could potentially win this game, right? But I am going to have to go with the predicted winner, which is Tennessee Tech. I mean, I understand that they've had, a blowout season. I get that it's easy to pick them, but I mean, it's kind of hard to not. If you crunch the numbers, I mean, are they leading in everything, stat-wise?
Basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Are there individual players leading everything stat-wise?
They're up there.
They're up there, but they're not. But they are, collectively speaking, the better team. Now, do I think it's going to be an interesting game? Yes, but I think it's going to lean towards Tennessee Tech, unless that is UT Martin can get those field goals up and running, and if it does come down to that.
I don't know. If you're kicking field goals, I don't know if they're going to win. Like, you need to make them, but if you're having to kick them in the first place, I think you're going to be chasing Tennessee Tech.
Well, folks, I look at this game, and there is so many fantastic things coming into it. I mean, a 5-game heater right now for UT Martin. They've been playing incredible. Jace Bauer has just been exceptional. Keyshawn Johnson, fantastic on the defensive end. But, I mean, they got a 2-headed monster in the backfield. Quintel Quinn leading the way from the backfield. Kakoa Vesperis, I mean, you say he can't do anything, he goes, you haven't seen me do it yet. And he just goes out and excels at everything. This is going to be another fantastic edition of this rivalry. It's going to be, like you said, probably one of the biggest games in association history. And it's a hard one to pick, in my opinion. This is a really good couple of teams. But, I like to keep it fun. I prepared a presentation for everyone
Really?
here today. Yes, I did. It might be a little hard to read, but I have How to Win a Football Conference by Jacob Stonick, of course. And a nice little font, little football in there. We'll go to the next slide. Of course, you have to be fast, really fast. Both these teams are fast. Well, you got to be strong, really strong.
What else do the people have to be?
Oh, yes. Well, you have to be efficient. Very efficient on the offense, very efficient on the defense. You got to be really efficient. And, well, you got to be Tennessee Tech. Got to be the Golden Eagles. They are just too perfect. They are so good. And you can't pick against them. Simply put, they're going to win the game. They'll win the conference outright, get the automatic bid. We'll see who else will get in. Big thank you to everyone behind the scenes that has helped us every single game day. It has been such a big help from everyone, and we really can't thank everyone enough inside the control room, behind the cameras, doing everything and all the work everyone's put in. It's been a fantastic season. We will hopefully see you next year. I am Jacob Stonick, James Zugmeyer, Elizabeth Boaz. Have a fantastic college football Saturday.